Namaskar, welcome back to the Saffron Box. Today I'll be talking about retrograde Saturn. So on the 13th of July this year till the 28th of November this year, 2025, Saturn will become retrograde, or rather it will become regressive in nature for about a period of 138 days. Does this happen every year or does it happen once in a while? So the answer is that this happens every year. Every year you'll find Saturn becoming retrograde for a period of about 138 or 39 days. This is a regular feature. And this time it is happening within the sign of Pisces. That is where Saturn retrogrades. And on the 20th of November, it stops being retrograde, becomes progressive in motion again within the sign of Pisces. Now, when we look at retrogression as such, we need to understand that whenever a planet becomes retrograde, its Cheshta Bal increases. There are 6 kinds of strengths when we look at Shat Bal as such. But without going into details, I'm talking about one thing, that is Cheshta Bal. When a planet becomes retrograde, the Cheshta Bal or the willingness to do something increases within the planet, right? Cheshta means our effort, what are we striving to do? So here that quality increases within the planet. So Saturn would like to do what it has been wanting to do, right? So, and whenever a planet becomes retrograde, the results are quicker. Whatever it wants to do, it does a little faster, little quicker. It takes your attention back to the matter which you have been ignoring for a pretty long time. So whichever house your Saturn is becoming retrograde in, or whichever houses it rules, all those matters start becoming the focus area again. And Saturn being the Karm Karak, Saturn being the Avashyam Bhavi Karm Karak Graha that it is, it represents your karma. Saturn takes your attention back to whatever you are supposed to do, because most of the times we do lose path, we do lose direction sometimes, we lose focus sometimes. But Saturn is the Karm Karak Graha, and Saturn tells you that this is what you have to focus on, or this is what is pending, this kind of karma has to be done, and takes your attention back somehow. And every year, that is the beauty of Saturn, that Saturn being such an important planet becomes retrograde every year, and every year you do get chances to go back to whatever has been pending, right? So this is anyhow, whenever I talk about Saturn is my favorite planet anyhow, because it is it is true to its commitment. It will never overcommit and underdeliver. Whatever Saturn says it does, or whatever Saturn promises, it definitely gives you. And now when we see Saturn in retrogression, that means the Cheshta Bal has increased, and now Saturn is coming back with more force to do whatever is supposed to do. So in this video, I'll talk about all the ascendants and what is the impact, or rather what are the possibilities for you during these 138 days when Saturn becomes retrograde. Before I go ahead further into all the signs, do remember one thing as well, that if Saturn is operative in your dasha, that is, if you are running a Mahadasha of Saturn, or an Antardasha, Pratyantar Dasha of Saturn, or if you're going through a Sade Sati, right? So Saturn is transiting over your moon, or it is one sign ahead or one sign behind your moon, that is the period of Sade Sati, then the impact of Saturn retrogression definitely increases. If you are a Capricorn or an Aquarius ascendant, or Capricorn and Aquarius moon sign, so again Saturn becomes a major planet for you, it becomes your ascendant lord, and it becomes very important again. So whatever you do, whatever you are considering doing, whatever actions you're taking, they again come under the sharp lens of Saturn. So going ahead now with all the signs. I'll talk about all the signs, and this time, since Saturn is retrograde, I am also going to start from the last sign first. That is, I'm going to be starting from the sign of Pisces and I'll go till Aries. Usually I go from Aries to Pisces, but this time around Saturn is retrograde, so let's follow its ways. Pisces and then Aquarius, Capricorn, and then further ahead, right? So if you are a Pisces ascendant, Saturn will be retrograde in your Lagna itself. For you, Saturn is the 11th and 12th lord. So your income and your expense, your gains and your losses, everything is ruled by Saturn. This is a time when you'll really feel like evaluating, going through whatever you've been gaining, whatever you've been losing. So taking an account, making a account statement of what you have been doing, not only in terms of money, but in terms of all relationships, in terms of the efforts which you have been putting in terms of the gains which you have got. This is a time to go through a lot of introspection, a lot of self-examination, I would say. This is a period where people would like to go back into memories or reevaluate their friend circle, their relationships around, and what is it, where do they stand. And this is something very important, and this is something which everyone should do from time to time. Where do you stand in terms of your relationships? How are you perceived by others? Are you really putting your efforts in the right direction? Are you being taken for granted somewhere, right? So this may also be a period for some. They would like to seek validation, seek recognition for what they've been doing. It may be your mother, it may be your parent, right? So they may like to hear a few good words from you, that they have been putting in so much for you, and now how is it that you've taken it? How is it that it has benefited you? So a few good words, a few words of appreciation would definitely work for the Pisces ascendant, I would say. Then the next ascendant of Aquarius. If you are an Aquarius ascendant, Saturn is your Lagnesh, and it will become retrograde in the second house where Pisces is. For you, for the Aquarius ascendant, Saturn is your 12th lord also and your first lord also, that is your Lagnesh also. Now here, a lot of your attention will go towards your family matters, will go towards your accumulated wealth. How are you juggling about your wealth? How are you looking at your assets, liquid assets specifically? How are you placed in terms of your financial wealth, right? So this is a period of introspection, or this is a period of realigning how you are financially, or how you are placed in terms of your family matters also. There might be issues where you have been spending a long time, lot of effort in resolving some issues within the family. So now this may be the time where you finally get some solution, or you finally come to some conclusion with regard to family matters, or specifically where finances are also concerned. So this is especially for people who are in a joint family business, or where finances are always kept joint between, say, father, son, between the family members as such. Now you may like to understand your share, you may like to understand what you have been putting, what you've been getting, right? So some kind of accountability does come in over here, and this is a good time. Saturn will help you in resolving these issues as well as the family matters, as I said. Now the next ascendant of Capricorn. If you're a Capricorn rising, Capricorn ascendant, Saturn would be retrograde in your third house, right? So Saturn being the Lagnesh, the first and the second house ruler, retrograde in the third house. This is a time to pay focus on all the efforts which you're doing. Are you really going in the right direction? What is your long-term vision? This is something which is very, very important for the Capricorn ascendant now, right? Capricorn ascendant, or if you're a Capricorn moon, then in such a case, your Saraswati has also just ended in March. This is a time to realign yourself with doing something new initiatives, new work, etc. But are you really being practical? Because Saturn is a very practical natured planet. Saturn is not like others. Saturn does not believe in exaggeration, right? It sees what it sees. It does what it does. So nothing more and nothing less. So here it demands you to become practical, to be a realist, and see to it that whatever you're doing has practical application. So take responsibilities which you can actually go through. Take up work which you can actually finish. Do not overcommit during this time. This is also a time where you will reevaluate your relationship with regards to your younger sibling as well, with your childhood friends as well, because that is what the third house also represents. If there are money matters between you and your younger sibling, then they also need to be resolved during this time. Saturn will give you an opportunity. These 4 months are actually an opportunity for you to resolve these things, right? Especially dented relationships. Then the next ascendant of Sagittarius. If you are a Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius ascendant, Saturn would be retrograde in your 4th house, right? 4th house in the sign of Pisces. Over here, especially considering that Saturn is in a watery sign of Pisces, though Saturn is pretty neutral here. Whenever we look at the Jupiterian signs, whether it is Sagittarius or whether it is Pisces, Saturn is usually neutral. It doesn't harm much. Here, when Saturn comes to the 4th house and then becomes retrograde, there could be some pending karma towards your mother, right? So this is a time to take care of your mother, reconnect with her, talk to her more often. If you haven't been, if you are staying away and if you haven't been paying too much time and attention to your mother, this is the time to do it, especially if she requires it. This may also be a period where your mother's health can be a area of concern, right? So that is something which you need to pay focus on. Unresolved issues with your mother, or if there are certain things which you've been hesitant to talk about with your mother, but now this will be the time where you need to resolve all those knots, right? Emotional issues, family issues, something where you feel that your mother could have done something for you, but you're harboring it, you're harboring some mixed feelings, some regret, some guilt, or whatever. This is a period to get over the unresolved emotions, unresolved issues with your mother as well. This may also be a period where you feel very anxious, very restless, right? Saturn is all said and done a malefic for you, for the Sagittarius ascendant, and it comes to the 4th house of emotions, of peace. It becomes retrograde, right? So here you may you may be concerned about your property matters. You may be concerned about you would have taken some initiative, started something new, and now you're confused, or now you're restless about how it's going to be, what is going to be the future of what you have done. So a lot of anxiety and lot of dealing with the whole bag of mixed emotions is what I would say for the Sagittarius ascendant. So this is a time to slowly and gradually use the Saturnian energy and resolve whatever is unresolved till now, right? Then moving on to the next ascendant of Scorpio. If you're a Scorpio rising, Scorpio ascendant, Saturn will become retrograde in your 5th house. Again, a very important house, being a trinal house, a trikon. 5th house is of children. 5th house is your creativity, of the expression of your creativity, how you manage things around. This is a time, if you have been feeling emotionally driven for the past few months, Saturn is going to bring in some practicality out here. right? So some practical decisions will have to be taken, some practical approaches will have to be adopted now going ahead, especially with your children, right? So you may like to be a little more stern with them, you may like to be a little more organized around them, manage your own time, manage your own resources very well, right? For you, Saturn is the fourth lord, is the third lord as well. So all your things around the house, your own house, your own home, your assets, your properties, all these things, you'll have to pay focus on all these things which you have been ignoring for a long time. So organize things around you and be practical is what I would say for the Scorpio ascendant. Then the next ascendant of Libra. So if you're a Libra ascendant, Libra rising, Saturn becomes retrograde in your 6th house. 6th house is a good placement for Saturn in the first place. So whenever we talk about the natal chart, or if we talk about the transits also, the 3rd, 6th, 10th and 11th places are always good for Saturn. And here, now when Saturn comes to the 6th house, it may ask you to pay attention towards your health, especially if you have been dealing with health issues related to teeth, related to spine, joints, right? So all these issues you'll have to see. If you have been, going through any old ailment, it may now come back again and you may need to seek proper treatment for it. So Saturn is here. Saturn is going to help you in resolving those issues for good, right? For the Libra ascendant, Saturn is anyhow a Yogakara Graha also, and it has come to a good place, that is the 6th house. Some progression at work can also be seen. So more responsibilities, a little elevation, a little advancement in your career, in your workplace can also be seen out here. For the Libra ascendant here, remember the 6th house is the house of enemies, of deaths, diseases, of your court cases, disputes. So whatever is unpleasant, wherever you need to fight, is what the 6th house represents. So you need to fight a disease, you need to fight an enemy, you need to fight a court case, right? So the key word is fighting back, right? Retaliating. So here Saturn helps you in resolving those issues. That's what I'm saying. It will help you in resolving any old health concern. It will help you in resolving any legal conflict which you're in, gives you an upper hand over there, right? So this is a good transit, or this is a good retrogression which I see for the Libra ascendant. Make the most of it while Saturn is retrograde. Then the next sign of Virgo. So if you're a Virgo rising, Virgo ascendant, then Saturn becomes retrograde in your 7th house. Now here, while Saturn gets a lot of cheshta bal, as I mentioned in the beginning, so while Saturn gets a lot of cheshta bal while it is retrograde, Saturn is also getting a lot of digbal. The 7th house is the west direction, Saturn represents the west direction. When Saturn comes to the 7th house, it gets a lot of digbal or directional strength as well. Now here, Saturn, brings in your focus towards your partnership, towards your agreements, towards your marriage first of all. You may have to deal with your partner very practically, right? This may be a period where your partner can make mistakes, where your partner can take certain decisions which may not favor you well. So talk to your partner, communicate with your partner continuously, whether it is your work partner or your life partner. 7th house is partnerships, so it includes all partnerships out here. Talk to your partner, communicate properly, and see to it that whatever you are deciding, whatever he or she is deciding, it is in the mutual interest of both of you, right? So relationship conflicts can come into the picture, right? Because for the Virgo ascendant, Saturn is the 5th and the 6th lord, right? While being a 5th lord, it is good. But the Mool Trikon Rashi, that is Aquarius, falls in the 6th house. It gives more results of the 6th house. Sixth house of fights, deaths, and quite a lot of unpleasant things. That is why sixth house is called a Duhasthana or a Trikbhava, right? So here Saturn brings all those conflicts out into the open with your partner. So this is a time to trade very carefully with your partnerships, with your agreements, etc. Do not start off with any new partnership business during this time. This is not a great time for it. You may regret it later. So if you are planning anything like this, postpone it by a few more months. Then the next ascendant of Leo. So if you are a Leo rising, Leo ascendant, for you, what do I say? Saturn is anyhow the 6th and the 7th lord, and it is becoming retrograde in the 8th house. For Leo ascendant, Saturn is anyhow the most malefic, class 1 malefic, because by nature Sun and Saturn are enemies. Though they are related, they are father and son, but Sun and Saturn are enemies. And in your birth chart, Saturn gets the ownership of the 6th and 7th, which are malefic houses again, right? For you, this may be a period where you may focus on joint finances, joint money. Your in-laws can be a point of focus, right? Your partner may now seek your help in resolving their family issues or issues with in-laws, right? Insurance matters can come up. So lot of things which, you know, we do not consider on a daily basis. We don't think about insurance every day, right? We don't think about in-laws family or their family issues every day, right? So all these things which are not connected with you on a day-to-day basis, you don't think about. But now all these things are going to come up for you to resolve, for you to work upon. And this may also be some long-drawn legal battle. This may also be some long-drawn health issues from their side or from your partner's side. So all these things have to be seen. This is a very good time for you to look at your own transformation, right? If you are Leo ascendant, but say a Pisces moon, then in such a case you would be going through your Sadesati, the middle phase of your Sadesati as well. Then it becomes all the more important, right? If you are a Leo moon also, then again you are going through Ashtam Shani. It again becomes very important for you to look at transforming yourself. So if you want to learn something new, if you want to do something new, if you want to work on yourself physically or in terms of your health, in terms of your skill sets, anything which transforms you, or the way you want to let go of certain things, because Saturn is in the sign of Pisces also. Letting go of the old is very, very important for the Leo ascendant. And I've mentioned this earlier on in my Saturn transit videos as well, right? So whatever is not serving you, let it go and embrace the new. That is how you transform, right? So 8th house energy is very, very prominent right now with the Leo ascendant. So make sure that you're open and you are ready to transform yourself, and of course all these matters which I mentioned earlier as well. There could also be sudden developments at work, right, for the Leo ascendant. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer rising, Cancer ascendant, Saturn becomes retrograde in your 9th house. For you, for the Cancer rising, Saturn is the 7th and the 8th lord. Again, not very good ownerships also. And it comes to the 9th house of Bhagya, of your fortune, your long-term travels, your guru's blessings, your father's blessings. 9th house is a very auspicious house, right? Saturn is here and Saturn becomes retrograde. So whatever it wants to do, it picks up pace. Whatever has been left behind, it now wants to cover it up, run fast and cover it up. So there may be, some long forgotten travel plans which you might have to take up again. So long due travel which you would have been avoiding for a long time may now come up. Visits to your father, visits to your gurus, long due visits may happen now, right? This may also be a time where you reconnect. You visit your gurus, you reconnect, and you may start off with some subject, or you may start off learning something. You may start off, working on something which was connected with your teacher, etc. Those of you who are in the field of research may also, their research may pick pace right now. So these kind of things can happen. Your knowledge will get enhanced during this time, especially if you are connected with 7th house, 8th house matters. So whether you are doing some business, or whether you are working in the field of insurance, of occult, of oil and gas, mining, archaeology, insurance, all these things, investigation centric professions, you may enhance your knowledge. So a good time to redo or rebrush your knowledge base right now, and also your travel plans, right? Then Gemini rising or Gemini ascendant. So if you are a Gemini rising, Gemini ascendant, Saturn is the 8th ruler as well as the 9th ruler for you, right? So the Bhagya and the loss of Bhagya. 9th house is Bhagya, and the 12th from the 9th, that is the 8th house, is loss of Bhagya. Both, Saturn rules. Saturn is the owner of both 8th and 9th. But luckily for you, the Mool Trikon Rashi of Saturn, that is Kumbh Rashi, Aquarius Rashi, falls in the 9th house. And now Saturn becomes retrograde within your 10th house. This is a period to focus on your career, on the career choices which you have made, on the work which you are doing in your profession, the karma which you are generating overall, even if you don't have a career. Now, some people do question in the comment section, what if I don't have a career? What if I'm a stay-at-home mom? Or what if I'm too young? Or what if I'm retired right now and I'm not working actively? In such a case also, 10th house is always active, because you're always generating some karma, right? On a day-to-day basis, there are various kinds of karma. So you are doing some kriyaman karma every day, right? Some drin adrin karma you are anyways engaging with, or you're generating on a day-to-day basis. When you deal with people, when you make transactions with people. Some are good, some are bad, some are unknowingly good, unknowingly bad, right? So you have to be more watchful about what you're doing, what your deeds are during this time. So make sure that whatever you are doing is ethical, is honest, and you are following the ways of Saturn, because Saturn is in the 10th house for these 2 years while it is here in the sign of Pisces. And it is a Upche Bhava, the 10th, right? So Saturn is willing to take you towards growth. You have to adopt the right ways to move towards growth, right? Then the next sign of Taurus. So if you're a Taurus rising, Taurus ascendant, Saturn becomes retrograde in your 11th house. 11th house is your social network, your gains, your material gains, whatever you have been doing. That's why the 11th house comes after the 10th. 10th is what you do, and 11th is what you get, right? Your karma and your labh. That is how the 10th and 11th are placed. For Taurus ascendant, Saturn is a Yogakara Graha also. It owns the 9th and the 10th houses, so it becomes a Yogakarak, and it is becoming retrograde in the 11th. So it may be good for your material gains, for your income, and all that effort which you have been putting in for a long time, all that may start fructifying during this time. Old dues can also come back, right? People may remember to pay old dues and now come back and pay it back to you. But one thing which you need to work upon is your social image, your social circle. Because when Saturn comes here, becomes retrograde in the 11th house, it makes you work towards your image. So what is the image which you are portraying out there in the society, in your circle, is what you have to rethink, right? Does it need any fine-tuning? Do you need to polish up your image? How are you coming across to people? That is something which you really need to work on for a longer, for the long-term future, right? How are you networking with people? Are they perceiving you well? Is it going to go well in the long term? That is something which you have to work on. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Aries. If you're Aries rising, Aries ascendant, then Saturn becomes retrograde in your 12th house. For Aries, Saturn is very interesting. Saturn takes care of two Upche Bhavas, two growth houses, that is the 10th as well as the 11th. And it deals with your karma, it deals with your gains also. So your work and gain both are under the ownership of Saturn. And now Saturn becomes retrograde, that too where in the 12th house. For the Aries ascendant, this is very important. You may now look at higher interests. So apart from your material gains, material work, you may now look at your spiritual pursuits or higher goals, as I say, in the hierarchy of needs. You want to see where you want to go. You want to see how you're growing spiritually. You want to, connect up with the higher powers. You want to visit gurus, take long-term journeys, connect with nature. All these things become a theme now. Those of you who have work connected to foreign lands also gain during this time, or you make more efforts to grow your work or to grow your business outside. So it may apply to people who are doing business as well as those people who are at who are employed somewhere as well. So your organization may connect, or maybe already you might be working with an MNC during this time, so you interact more with people from other countries, clients from other countries. So more foreign connections can be seen during this time. This may also be a period where a lot of your hidden enemies can come out. So people who were jealous of you, people who were not wishing you well, this may be a period where a lot of such things get unearthed, get uncovered. So be prepared to deal with that as well. And that was all about all the 12 signs and how retrograde Saturn impacts all the 12 signs. If you have been watching my content but not subscribing to it, that's not a good thing. Do subscribe the channel before you leave, and do give me a like if you like my content, and do leave your comments in the comment section. That's very, very important. Thank you and God bless you.